Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Warren,
And this is Jay.
and we the Eagles Collective. It's time to talk Eagles offseason. Let's see what we got going on. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's been a while. It's been about 3 weeks since me and Jay been on, but hey, when life hits, life hits. We got we got other stuff going on. Both of us got full-time jobs. We moving. We got other stuff to do, but we never forget about our birds. So we welcome y'all to the show. Uh, Jay, how you been, bro?
I've been good. I've been good, man. Just living life, being working hard, dad life. My son
Yeah.
plays flag football, so I'm very involved in that.
Hey, what position?
He plays defense mostly. He likes defense, but when they're young, they play both sides of the ball.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Yeah, so we'll tap right into it. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just talk about all the signings this off season. This signing's been crazy right now, and
Yeah,
with
man,
those
we're loaded.
so many signings right now, and I feel like with all the signings that we got right now, I think it'll just be best if we just talk about first. We'll talk about our top signings this year. So right now, these are our top signings that we picked up this whole off season. I think this is a good group, especially compared to last season. Um, I think me and you both agree that the off season last year, even though they did a lot of pickups, it wasn't any splash pickups. So so definitely a lot of splashes, a lot of surprises. Um, you can definitely tell the Eagles front office is not excited about the way they ended the season. So
Yeah.
we got Saquon, CJGJ, we got Huff, Devin White, Kenny Pickett, Parker. Like these are all elite players at the end of the day. Um, I kind of want to start off with you, Jay. Give me a little thought on you. So what do you think?
Well,
Who do you feel like is probably going to make the biggest impact on the team this year?
Well, first of all, this is a great group of guys because this is a group of guys like you said. You have guys that are gonna come in. They're gonna make a contribution, whether it's on depth, whether they're a starter. Did a good balance so far in free agency, picking up, and we haven't even hit the draft yet. But
Yeah.
my most impactful pick, I think, signing so far, I would say would be White. I would say Devin White, and the reason why I'll say Devin White is because we finally have a captain like linebacker on defense. And even though he's 34, he's been in the league for a little while. He's a three-time All Pro, one-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ. He's a player with a lot of experience. He could get people in the right position. I just think the linebacker position is a position that they've overlooked for too long. And even though he's not a young, fast, fresh guy, he still has the mind of a vet. And I think it's going to be the best pick so far that they had from free agency.
No, I agree with you. Devin White is definitely going to be an impactful player. I like during his interview press conference how he made the comment that he knew N'Kobe Dean and how he feels like he can kind of add that mentor role and kind of push him to where he needs to be. We all know as fans, the Kobe Dean has not been doing the things that we expect him to do since coming in, which is,
Unfortunately.
yeah, it's sad, but hopefully he gets out of this whole injury spin that he's got going on right now, and he can take off. My my biggest impactful player that I think we're gonna be having right now would probably be I kind of don't want to just go with the obvious, but definitely Saquon. And the reason why I put Saquon up there is just simply because if you really think about it, Saquon is that player that what makes him different and what makes him different from the last few running backs that we had with Miles Sanders and DeAndre Swift is just simply Saquon can block. And Swift was not a very good blocker. Um, Miles Sanders was not a very good blocker. Kenny Gainwell was actually the best blocker out of both of them. That's why he kind of just stayed on the team just because he could at least block. And I think
Absolutely.
now with Saquon, that's going to help. But these are big moves. Like I think we kind of got the Christian McCaffrey effect with it. We got the receivers, we got the O line, now we got the running back for it, and we got the quarterback. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. This is going to be really good to see. Just I'm already getting my tickets right now. Like I'm already setting aside. Like I'm ready to go to these games. I'm just ready for the schedule to come out.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
who is somebody that was the most surprising pick for you?
The most surprising, I would say, Kenny Pickett, and the reason why is because we needed a backup, and I just didn't. I mean, I know he requested a trade once they did the Russell Wilson and they brought in Justin Fields, and he just didn't want to be a part of that organization anymore. But
Yeah,
he probably was the most surprising one to me. I thought they would have went more towards a veteran for the towards a veteran for the backup quarterback, but they went with Pickett, and I think it's a good pick because Pickett could develop behind Hurts, and he could develop in the Eagles organization, and plus he's actually an Eagles fan growing up, so he's a documented Eagles fan, so that's a plus.
no, yeah, you right there. You nailed it on the head. He's already an Eagles fan. Apparently, out in Pittsburgh, he wasn't too happy with the trades and the moves that they
Mhm.
made, and he was ready to get out. So at least he went somewhere where he at least respects the team to a certain point. But it's good to have him. I think my biggest surprise really was CJ GJ, honestly, just because how many teams sign a player, let a player go, and bring him back? I think that's
Very
one of
true.
those things. I think that's one of those things where the front offices realize that they made a mistake in the move that they made last year, and that's their way of coming back and fixing that issue. Um, it's good to have him back. I wouldn't say dog mentality, but he definitely brings that energy
Oh, he
onto the
does,
field.
one hundred
He
percent. I want to.
exactly.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to piggyback off that. To be honest with you, that says a lot about the Eagles organization and as a whole because he came back. There's 31 other teams. Not to say 31 other teams wanted him, but out of those 31 other teams, many teams would have took him at a rate that they could afford. And the fact that he came back to Philly says a lot about the organization to me and about the culture that he once was part of in 2022 when we made the Super Bowl. I just think that he is a leader on defense. Wherever he
Yes.
goes, he makes things a little bit better. He did it in Detroit with their defense. He had their defense flying at one point. So I think that he's coming back, and I think it's the right move, 100%.
Yeah, no, I like this move. It's all good. I think it's a really good move, honestly. Bringing him back, somebody that everybody on the field knows. They're used to him in the locker room. They're used to his energy. They're used to the impact that he makes. Even him just coming back to the NovaCare Center and the energy that they gave off on him, like he was happy to come back. It wasn't like he was just here for the money. So I like that. Um,
Absolutely.
and with that said, there was a lot of other players that we picked up. You got Campbell that came in. You got the offensive lineman that they picked up. Matt Hennessy.
Yep.
Like,
Depth, all depth, a lot of
yeah,
depth, man. They finally got it together this season because
yeah,
they've always prided themselves on depth, but the depth going into last season looked so shaky on paper. On
it
paper, it looked
was.
shaky.
It was. They signed a lot of players that hey, they signed a lot of unknowns, a lot of practice squad guys, a lot of guys that didn't make that big of an impact on their old team. And then we hoped that they would come over here to us and they could do the same thing. I
Hmm.
think I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to fix their mistakes. They one good thing about our front office that I can agree on is they saw the mistakes that were made in the offseason and now they're willing to make those changes, admit to them, and make it better. Like signing CJ back is that's saying, hey, we made a mistake, we want you back.
Yeah,
Another linebacker that they picked up, Zach Bond, like he
another
made a
depth
lot of big
piece. A
moves.
vet.
Yeah, a lot of big. He made a lot of big moves with the Saints. I watched a little bit of his highlights. He wasn't too bad. He wasn't too bad. Another
He has a
linebacker
knack for
they
the
picked.
ball. He gets around to the ball. I watched a couple of his. He moves around. He's another depth piece, which is perfect for the linebacker room.
Yeah, bro. And then we got Owen Burks, signed a 1 year deal with him. He was with the 49ers. So just getting his feedback and getting his knowledge that he has on the field.
Yeah,
Bringing
he
him,
sounds
like you said.
excited to be in Philly too. I saw his press conference actually. It was one of the ones I actually watched. He seems pretty excited to be in Philly.
Yeah, depth. That's what we need right now. We need depth, especially with the linebackers. Put them on the field, see who performs the best, see who steps up, see who's willing to kind of just take that role. And I think it's a good point for Nakobe Dean. Like, hey, you've been injured the last 2 years. The last 2 years you've been on the team, you've been injured. We want to
Hmm.
see what you can do. Like, it's kind of one of those times where it's like, hey, if you can't do anything, we got to find somebody that can. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about the off season. I'm excited about the moves that were made, but then we got the draft coming up too. So like with all the moves that's been made with the
We
salary
haven't even
cap
hit
the
the
way it is,
draft yet. With all
yeah,
the moves that we've
exactly.
made, we haven't even hit the draft. All signs point to me that they're gonna go heavy on defense, and the reason why I say that is because I think they're gonna end up drafting a linebacker somewhere along the line and a good corner somewhere high. And the reason why I say that the fact that they have all these vets in there, they're gonna mix them in with a younger guy, and that's the focus. The focus should be on defense in this draft. They also don't have a clear cut wide receiver three. They signed Paris Campbell, they signed Devontae Parker, but they don't have a clear cut three. So the drop off after AJ and Devontae is too steep. You need a guy in there that can catch. There's a lot of wide receivers out there. I thought they would have picked up, you know, I thought they would have picked up a wide receiver in the first round, but we don't know that yet. But I don't think they will. I think they're gonna go defense.
You think defense? Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking they would go wide receiver first round and maybe try to get a young guy to develop behind Smitty and AJ. But I think they're gonna end up going defense. I mean, it's almost like they have to go with defense. You gotta get guys that can get stops.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned offense with the receivers. Um, Xavier Worthy got an interview with the Eagles. That was good. What do you feel about Jerry Rice's son? Us picking him up.
I'm not. Not only because of the name, he's a pretty good prospect. I watched some of his tape. I think he's a pretty good prospect. I still do think, like I said, they do need a project receiver. Like they have vets after AJ and Devontae. So at some point they got to pick up one of these guys. They have to pick up one of these guys.
It's a must. No, I agree with you.
Another
I
one
think
person is Keon Coleman from Florida State. Round pick that's possible too. You got wide receivers. If they're there on the first round, if they're the best available player on your board, you might have to take it even over your need.
no, you're right. Like that's what makes the draft so interesting and personally fun for me, just because you don't know who's going to get picked up. Hell, we don't even know who's the first round, like first pick is going to really be. Like everybody's saying Caleb Williams, but who knows? It could be Jaden Daniels. It could be anybody. So that's very interesting to me. I always thought we could probably pick up a wide receiver maybe in the second round. Um, there's a lot of good wide receivers, and we don't really need a wide receiver one. We just need a wide receiver three. Like we
Yeah,
just need somebody to help
maybe somebody who
complement.
could maybe develop into a two, or somebody who could pick up the slack. Because AJ and Devontae, knock on wood, they've been healthy. As a tandem towards the end of last year, and especially when Devontae rolled his ankle on that stupid screen. Other than that, they pretty relatively healthy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. These were a few players that I've been looking at that I think could definitely help. Um, I want to get your thoughts on it, Jay, as we go through it. The first one I'm gonna pick right now is Byron Murphy, defensive tackle from UT. I think with the loss of Fletcher Cox, we kind of have Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, and we have Jordan Davis right now, and Tyler Steen. I want to say, is it
No,
Steen?
Tyler Steen. No, not Steen. He's
Tyler
the
Steen's on offense.
offense.
What's the
Yeah, offense
what's
line.
yeah? What's the guy's name? He got injured in the preseason, but he's still on the
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
But
I
he
know who
was
you're talking about
yeah
his name is kind of hard to pronounce.
yeah.
Owagu,
But yeah,
Owagu, Owagu.
exactly. He got picked up. Um, he got picked up last season, but he was injured, which was tragic. However, bringing him back, but I think getting another depth piece on defensive tackle. If you really think about the defensive end position, we right now we still have Hassan Reddick, we still got Huff, we still got Graham, and we still have Nolan Smith. Um, I feel like the depth is there with the defensive ends and the edge. Now it's time to get inside the defensive tackle. And I think putting Byron Murphy in there can definitely take us to the top. Um, Before we move forward, I kind of want to go on these comments real quick. And it looks like our long lost friend Dennis. Uh, I believe we need to draft someone with a bad hairline as well. Hey, you never know. You never know. Dennis, we
Listen,
miss
man,
you.
that
We
helmet
miss you,
comes out.
man.
We don't care about their hairline. Man, we miss you, Dennis. What's up, bro?
Yeah, let us know.
Sorry I haven't been here. Yeah, man, it's tough. We sorry. We definitely send our condolences to your family. We know it's been a journey for you guys that you guys didn't want to go through, but inevitably it happens with elderly family members, and I'm so sorry you had to go through that, bro. I've been there before.
Likewise, Dennis. Hey, you already know you got my number. You can always talk to me if you ever want to talk. I'm right here, bro. Yeah, but we appreciate you on here, Dennis. We got you. But yeah, just moving forward, we got Byron Murphy, and then we got Chop Robinson.
Yeah,
Chop
Edge.
Robinson is the edge, yeah, that edge piece that everybody wants. Everybody's been talking about. They said that he's next. They're actually saying that he has the potential to be better than Michael Parsons. And hey, we seen Michael Parsons play. We Michael Parsons is legit, but if Chop Robinson could get picked up by us, I think that would be some competition right there. Um, what are your thoughts on Chop Robinson?
I think he would solidify edge rusher immediately. Immediate plug and play with Philadelphia. It would be fun to see him coming off of the edge. He could potentially replace Reddick if he's traded too.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, the Reddick
So
trade is still looming in the air. We still don't know if we're gonna trade Reddick, but the fact that they moved the salary bonus or whatever it is, to the post date, it just the trade is almost inevitable.
no, you're right, and I think this is lingering. It's lingering a little too long, and a little longer than what we expect. My thoughts is Howie Roseman is waiting. He understands a lot of people are prisoners in the moment. So with that being said, I feel like he's waiting for the draft. He's waiting for the draft because he knows a lot of players want to get Chop Robinson, and if they do not pick him up, he can make that phone call and be like, "Hey, Chop just got picked up. We got a sign right here for whatever pick or for whatever trade that we can make happen." So I'm excited. I'm excited to see the draft. I know the biggest moves are made in the draft. That's why they call it the war room.
Yeah,
Another player is Quinion Mitchell, cornerback.
corner
We need this. We need a cornerback. We need a cornerback. Like
with some
if you
speed
are
on
if
him.
you are a true Eagles fan, you know the way that Bradbury made you feel throughout the entire season. And Bradbury ain't it right now. We need to get younger. We need to get faster. We need to get more athletic. And I think this would be the piece that we need right now. Um, and that's where I'm kind of at a standstill. I'm like, should we get a defensive tackle? Should we get a cornerback? Defense has to be our main focus coming into this draft. But
Yep.
Jay, I want to get your thoughts on this.
I think I see the comments. Dennis is saying Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Definitely Jeremiah Trotter Jr. But he would be a second round pick. It would be a reach to grab him in the first round. And if he
Yeah,
falls to us in the second round, I think almost certainly the Eagles will grab him for multiple reasons. Not only because of his last name. I think the Eagles would grab him. He's a need. He's a fit. He would be perfect in the slot that they're picking in the second round. But
yeah,
I do think that a young corner is almost the best route they could go first round. And the reason why I say that is because it is so hard to find corners. There's always going to be dynamic guys on offense, dynamic receivers, that speedy guys, dynamic tight ends who could catch like Kelsey. There's always going to be those guys. And if you don't have a corner that can lock at least the outside receivers out or take away the number one option from a team long term, it's going to be hard. You're just going to get burned. The Eagles consistently have had bad cornerback play. We got good when they got Slay and Bradbury and they were playing at high levels. But I
yeah,
don't really fault Slay too much. I think Slay played to his age and well for his age and where he's at, and especially trying to push through the injury. But Bradbury definitely fell off a cliff as far as skill. and I don't know if it's mental, I don't know if it's an age thing, but it just drastically happened, and it didn't slowly happen. It happened like almost like with a blink.
No, I agree with you, and their age really showed the last 7 games of the season, and that's why I'm kind of like you. Like we seen them produce at a high level, we seen them produce in the Super Bowl, but ever since last season, they left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Um,
Absolutely, bro.
y'all gonna know Trotter Jr. for the love of God, come on.
Oh yeah, no, no, no. That's
Hey,
why I brought him up. That's why I brought him
hey,
up.
now Dennis, let me ask you this. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and whoever's watching, you can send a comment too. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. or Edrin Cooper? I get it. The Jeremiah Trotter, yeah, his dad played for us. That's awesome. But at the end of the day, we want to get the best linebacker, not the linebacker that was whose father was that was good with us. We want to get the best linebacker, and I feel like Edrin Cooper would be the best linebacker for us.
Yeah.
Like that's my personal opinion. Um, but yeah, but going on with that, we're gonna move forward to um, salary cap executive. Now, this anybody that knows the business of the NFL knows that this is a huge, huge loss. Um, Jake Rosenberg, salary cap executive and one of Harry Roseman's long-term aides, is leaving the Eagles.
Yes, that's not good.
Yeah, and hey, Harry Roseman may be the front. He may be the person that's in charge of all this. He could be the ringleader of everything going on. Somebody say, "Hey, I feel like I learned enough from you. I want to step away." We still may have the Vic Fangio of salary caps. You know what I mean? But this can, or he could be the one that's making these big moves to help us out with our salary cap. The Eagles have always been known to work the salary cap and make the salary cap work for them. So this is a huge loss. But Jay, what do you think about this?
Well, this is one of the secret quiet pieces of an NFL team that you usually don't ever see. This is not a guy you're ever gonna see plastered all over the that they're usually going to see the GM, but this is one of the guys who works directly with the GM. He was the VP of football administration for the Eagles, so he held a very big position under the Eagles. He wasn't somebody who just had a regular job in an office somewhere in the cut. He definitely was vital. The Eagles right now have the fifth most salary cap space, but entering the offseason, they had the 18th most salary cap space. So it just goes to show you the numbers, how they work the numbers, and how they're able to go from the middle of the pack to the top of the league as far as salary cap space with guys like this. So secretly, I think these are things that affect the team, but the Eagles are good at promoting within, and Jeffrey Lurie always has his eye when a guy like this leaves. So I think Howie and Jeffrey are gonna find somebody to take over
Yeah, no,
within the
you have a good
organization,
point.
somebody within the organization who knows how they do things.
Yeah, no, that's what they need. They have a whole team that does this. It's not just one person. Um, it's sad news, but it's hey, everybody's got to move up. If you holding somebody back, you're the problem. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, too, uh, the league has made new rules to the NFL. Right now, Ian Rappaport has a list of all the new. Here's approved the 2024 playing rules, bylaws, and resolutions for these. So there's a lot going on right now, but we'll just talk about the main one. The biggest one that a lot of people are not too excited about right now is this kickoff. Um, this is where I kind of say that I don't want to have my opinion on it until I see it. We've seen the XFL display it, and those are XFL players, no offense, but I want to see these NFL players play it. I think it brings in opportunities for the kick returners. It definitely opens up opportunities for that. But I just want to see how this is all displayed out before making a full opinion on it. Uh, Jay, what are your thoughts on that?
I think the new kickoff rule is going to dramatically affect field position as far as where teams start their drives off. And the reason why I say that is because the rule's a little new, so it's kind of hard to explain it. But any kick that lands short of the landing zone is going to be treated like a kickoff out of bounds and going to be spotted at the 40. You start at the 40, you're already moving. That's 15 yards from the 25. Any kick that lands in the landing zone must be returned. That's another important thing. Any kick that lands in the end zone, in the landing zone and goes in the end zone must be returned and down by the receiving team. And if down, then it would be to the 20-yard line as a touchback. So there's different ways that you could get the ball at the 20, at the 30, or at the 40. So
Mhm.
there's kickoff hits in the end zone, stays in bounds, returned it down, then touch back to the 30-yard line. So there's just a lot of things that we got to get used to. I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on the kicker to accurately make these kicks, quote unquote, past the land and in the landing zone and not past the landing zone. So I just think it's going to be a lot of adjustments for the kickers mostly.
Yeah, if you got a good kicker, you're in a good spot. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that could
If
accurately kick his kicks because it's not just going to be like get a kickoff and just knock it out the ballpark. Now they want you to give the returner a chance, but with the ball has to be in a certain area.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. My biggest thing is I got to see it. Um,
Yeah.
Another one of the rules that are in here is the hip drop tackle is now banned. Um, my thoughts on the hip drop tackle, and Jay, I would like you to elaborate on this too.
Mm-hmm.
With this hip drop tackle, a lot of players have gotten injured through it. However, the hip drop tackle is banned, but it is the swinging motion of the tackling player that kind of swings the body of the player with the ball. So that is the
Swinging
part
them
that they're,
down.
yeah, swinging them down. That is the part that they're trying to ban. Um, Everybody's talking about how they're not going to be able to tackle like they used to. Like, that's fine. But however, it is based on the tackling technique. If they're swinging their body in a motion to where it could potentially hurt the other player, yes, that is a flag. I think it's like a 15-yard penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the play that's the move that they are banning, not just hip drop tackle.
It
Um,
just the Mark Andrews injury last year is a perfect example. Like when he got
yeah,
dragged down and rolled his ankle up, that was not a good injury.
it was a nasty injury. And another rule that they're saying is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, if there is a if if there is a flag on roughing the passer, and so right now they're relying on the field referees to make all these big moves unless it is challenged, and they go up to the top and they have
Mm-hmm.
them review it. However, if they call a roughing the passer and up top they review it and they say, hey, that player did not hit that quarterback in the face mask, they hit them on the shoulder or they hit them somewhere else, they can actually just void that flag and
Yeah,
they can go
rescind it.
back to, yeah, they can void that. So what it basically is just another set of eyes. Another set of eyes to kind of like double down on what the referee is calling, which I think will be good. It can take away a lot of challenges. I know this whole season we were all a little bit upset on just certain plays that were called. And just I can just name off the top of my head that Dallas and Detroit game. Just that last play. Like if somebody was up top and reviewed it, that play could have been different.
Different,
So
yeah.
yeah, so just different things like that is definitely going to make the game a little bit more eyes on and a little bit more detailed. So I'm excited about that. But Jay, what are your thoughts on the last few rules that I talked about?
I think this extra set of eyes is gonna help the league and not missing calls because there's always a handful of calls that get blown that are dramatically affect the game, especially in the end of the season when playoff implications are involved. But I think the kickoff rule, like I said, is definitely going to be the one that's going to mostly affect because the fact that the field positioning, if you kick the ball and it doesn't land where it's supposed to, it's going to end up being, they end up going to end up getting it at the 40. So it's just a lot. It's a lot.
No, I agree with you. But yeah, that's a really bit. And I know if you watched New Heights with Jason Kelsey, Travis Kelsey, they had Saquon on there. Saquon made a very good point. He said in the preseason, you're going to see them throw that flag out there just to let them know they're initiating it. As the season rolls on, they're not going to call it as much, and you'll see it start to pick back up
Yeah.
um, in the postseason. So these are moves that now coaches are having to make sure that their defensive players are watching when it comes to the hip drop tackle or when it comes to roughing the passer, like making sure these players are not getting as injured as they were in the past. But yeah, Jay, do you have any thoughts on everything, or you feel like that's kind of just straightforward with
It's pretty
everything that we talked
straightforward. I
about?
think it's a lot more rule change. Usually we get one or two. We got
Hmm.
three. I think it's four official big rule changes. So it's always it's always interesting to see how the game evolves, but also don't take away the fun from the game at the same
Yeah,
time.
definitely don't take away the fun. Now, I know a rule that was not banned that a lot of people were hoping was banned was uh was the brotherly shove. So
Yeah.
that did not get banned. We're keeping that. It's not going anywhere. We're going to keep using it. We have the offensive line for it. We have the quarterback for it. I
Mhm.
understand Jason Kelsey is no longer with us, but we still have Jalen Hurts. And as much as I'm going to miss Jason Kelsey, Cam Jurgens, you can't sleep on Cam Jurgens.
Yeah, you cannot. You cannot. I think how many times is your replacement already in the building, and you've been grooming him, and he's played alongside with you, you blood, sweat, and tears, all those moments you've passed with him as your brother, and that's who's gonna be your successor. So I think it's a very unique situation that the Eagles are in, but that also goes for them valuing the offensive line with Jeff Stoutland and all the resources that they put into the offensive line. They've always cared about the trenches.
Yeah. And Jason Kelsey even said he handpicked Cam Jurgens.
Yeah,
He said Cam Jurgens reminds him of him at that stage.
yeah,
So Jason Kelsey is not just going to pick anybody. Like they asked Jason, who do you feel can be a good replacement for you? And Cam Jurgens was that guy. And to double down on that, now they got Saquon, who can also block in those type of situations. So that the team knows and the office knows what they're doing. We gotta trust it. We gotta see it for our own eyes. But I think we're in a better situation on offense. All we really need to do is just get the defense intact to where we want it to be. And I think we all can kind of be at ease when we find out what's going on with this Hassan Reddick deal. Is he
yeah.
staying? Is he going? Are we trading him? What's the situation with him? I would personally love to keep Hassan Reddick, but think about it like this: as long as this has been lingering, how do you think Hassan Reddick's performance is going to be? Knowing
Yeah.
that the Eagles was not willing to pay him the amount that he feels like he deserves to get.
It's a game, it's a business, and he understands that the other guys got to get paid. And it's if you ask me if do I think he's worth that high of a salary, honestly, I'll tell you no. And the reason why I'll say that is because that's a lot to pay one guy who's on the end. He's probably on his last big contract. That's a lot of money to pay him and expect for him to give you the same that he's been giving you. Even though he's had 10 plus sacks, I think in his 4 seasons consecutively, or maybe even
Yeah,
4 seasons consecutively. Even though he's had that, I don't think it warrants him to get the top pass rusher money, because it's like that's a money you pay to a guy you're investing in long term. And Reddick doesn't have that much gas left in the tank. He still has gas in the tank, but not as much as a young guy would.
no, yeah, you're right. And also with the Son Reddick, if he's not rushing the passer, what else is he doing?
He disappears a lot. He comes in and closes, but he disappears a lot also, just like Josh Sweat.
Yeah, if he's not rushing the passer, what is he doing? Um, even even with last season, we saw him drop back into coverage and
Terrible.
he did not make any impact. Like, I think that is what they're looking for. They want somebody that is versatile, and I think that's why they brought in Huff. But then at the same time, a lot of people say Huff is just like Hassan Reddick. His
Yeah,
his biggest threat is that the fact that he can rush the passer. So I want to see where we can go with this. Like I said, I would love to keep Hassan Reddick and keep Huff and keep Sweat and have
yep,
Nolan Smith there in our pocket and have Brandon Graham there ready to come in, ready to play fresh. Like
absolutely.
that's a threat. That's a threat. Um, but yeah, we just tapping in a little bit, talking about all the new moves that's went on. Uh, we appreciate you guys watching us. Anybody that's ever want to just come on, talk ball, talk Eagles, talk birds, we definitely here. Before we get up out of here, Jay, you got anything you want to say to everybody?
Yeah, no, I'm just very satisfied with the moves that's been made. The draft hasn't even got here, and the Eagles have already are definitely look better on paper than they did and in the season last season.
Yeah, I'm excited for the season. I think it's going to be a good year. I named it Super Bowl bound. That they going all in. They know we just need to get over that hump, and let's see what we got to do. But hey, this is the Eagles Collective. We appreciate y'all watching us, and go Birds.
Go Birds.